Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another... Do people even know where we are at? This is only our second episode, right?
Yeah, it is our second episode.
No one.
Yeah.
Zero people.
Well, I hope they know soon. I hope they know who we are by the third episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
Probably not. We are St. Rose Fireside Chats. Pretty much we just talk about topics that you vote on.
But since we haven't had any votes yet, we're here to talk about college survival tips, most difficult major, dorm issues and resolutions. All right, so why don't you start us off with college survival tips? What do you think after your first semester?
Oof, college survival tips. The biggest tip I can give you is, worry about yourself. I mean, yeah, you got a roommate, you guys are gonna have conflict and all of this, but just make sure you get your things done.
Yeah, keeping on time with assignments is kind of hard if you're not used to it. I went to I think some people coming from some bad schools, or not bad schools, but lower than average schools with not a lot of funding might have some difficulty with time management. That's all college really is time management. So if you can get that down, then you'll be fine. Yeah. I know these people might agree with me.
It's definitely tough. Coming in your first semester, everyone thinks oh, it's college, I can't wait to party. But yeah, there's gonna be time to party. Just get your things done.
Yeah.
And there's so many people around to help you. I know you're going to hear this again and again from your RA, and it's going to get really annoying, trust me. But they are there. You can even ask random people, and they'll actually give you assistance. First day.
Yeah, there's some nice people around here.
Everyone's super nice on this campus, so you don't have to worry about that as far as, you're going to meet one or two people, but that's really it.
It's really weird.
And if you are struggling with your difficult major, to segue us in to the second topic, which is most difficult major. You said biochem off screen. I'm going to bring that up. Biochem is Tyler's choice. I would say either art or music or bio out of those three seem to be the hardest.
Yeah. I just said biochem because I do have some friends that are biochem majors, and they just seem to have no free time. They got these 6-hour labs, they got no time to hang out and just piled up with work and just, I don't know.
Yeah, one of my science major friends, he had to do research recently, and that was all he did really, was just research, and now he's moving on to internships and volunteering, so he has no free time.
Yeah.
But
as for the art and music majors, the art majors is just hard because even if you want to focus on one type of art, you have to study the whole thing, and I hear art history is hell. Really. But also with the music majors, you have to do everything. My roommate is a music major, and she has to take 18 credits, which is already hell, plus she has to take a bunch of classes that have 0 credit. And she ends up taking what equivalent to 4 credit things that are worth 0 points, and she just...
Yeah, I think on average, in one of my classes, the teacher asked us how heavy our workload was, and some people were 5-6 classes a semester, while the music majors were I'm taking 10 to 12 a semester. Oh, okay. I don't have it that bad, man.
If I had to take a class that was 0 credits, that would probably ruin my day. I don't want to go to class in general. And if I'm not even getting credit,
it gets easier once you take classes you're actually interested in, or you find oh, this is actually interesting. I can actually get myself involved in this. It's really nice.
Comm might be one of the easier ones.
It's definitely one of the easier ones.
I would say so, since we're all comm majors, correct?
Yeah.
So I would,
we can admit that. All right.
I would say it is, but it's funny you mentioned your roommate, Emily, because our next topic is dorm issues and resolutions.
Yeah, so tell us more about that. Yeah.
Well, you're always going to have an issue with your dorm mate. It's going to happen, period. Now, there's ways you can resolve the issue, but you always have to make compromises and make sure if you do have a point where you're having a really big argument, always just bring in the RA. They're there to help. I had an issue with sharing my wires because we didn't have enough room to plug in everything, so we had to mess things around. It was a whole mess, but we ended up sharing and everything worked out.
Alone, I don't have enough room to plug everything in. Although, with dorm issues, not necessarily roommate issues, but with the dorm itself, like where you're staying, be sure to make sure that like everything, such as the drawers and the cabinets and all that, like stays intact. Or if it breaks, then send in a work order. And I know with my coax port, it broke first day, and it didn't get fixed until towards like the last few weeks of the second semester of the year. So you gotta like tell your RAs like, hey, send in that work order like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times if it's necessary. So.
As for me, I make a point, keeping up with his topic, take a picture of your room, like go photo crazy and just take bits and pieces so you have proof. My first freshman year, I had my room was wrecked on the wall because of a trading issue thing. What you do is you just take the pictures. This was here when I moved in, therefore you don't have to pay. I almost had to pay like $200 for something I didn't do. So
I actually did have to pay for the paint on the bottom of our floor was chipped off by my chair from getting in and out of it so much. So do be aware of that. If you really need to, either pick up your chair every time you move it, or get some tennis balls and cut them in half and then put them at the bottom of your chair. Like it's honestly going to make your life a lot easier. But I think that's all the time that we have. Or we still have like 1 more minute to talk about stuff. So any last thoughts on the concluding thoughts on any of the 3 topics that you guys want to talk about?
I'll talk about dorm issues. I would say my biggest dorm issue would probably be like noise complaint, because I live in Brubacher and it's like an old building, and like you play like music low, like you could still hear it from across the hall.
Yeah, that's
So,
any dorm. I
like
feel
when it comes to quiet hours, like they're gonna start getting annoying about like all the noise. So
yeah, just be respectful around quiet hours, especially with the 24-hour one during finals week. Well, that's all the time that we have, folks. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found some useful information.
I know I did.
I hope none of you fell asleep. Thanks for watching anyway.
Be sure to vote for the topics you'd like to hear discussed on the show.
Tune in next week to get hyped for the next episode of
St. Rose Fireside Chats.
Go vote or go home.